Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1750. Books, books, and more books. So I was trying to figure out what to talk about today, and I thought, and I belong to a couple of book groups within on Facebook, and by my favorite authors. So I like reading all the stuff that goes on in there, and people are trying to think, if we turn this book into a movie, who will play this character? And that everybody has their own ideas, and some of them are really brilliant, and some of them are like, yeah, no, I can't picture that guy playing, can't picture that person playing that particular character, and things like that. But it got me thinking today, because there's one book series that I absolutely love. It's called Misfortune. Oh, jeepers. It's the Misfortune series. It's really awesome. I absolutely love it. And unfortunately, the author had a really bad accident a few months ago, and she had released book number 25 in the series. Yes, she's up to that many, and left us with a massive cliffhanger. And we're sort of like, what's going to happen? And so we had to wait for her recovery for book 26 to come out. Well, when book 26 came out, I was sort of like, okay, it's going to be at least like 6 to 8 weeks before the audio comes out. And all of her book series so far, up until book 25, I had listened to on audio. I have them all on Audible. And so it's like, do I wait another 6 to 8 weeks? Do I get it now and read it and then get the audio when it comes out? It was a very tough decision. And so I got the book. I have read it twice. The audio came out this past week. So now I'm back on an even keel. It was really weird reading the book, I have to tell you. So I had to read it through again, and just finished it this past week when the audio book came out. Like, what are we up to? I think it was either Monday or Tuesday this week. It came out like really recently. And so now I'm listening to the audio book in the morning when I have breakfast, and in the evening when I have dinner as well, and when I have lunch. So basically when I sit down to have a meal, I've got the audio book playing. And it got me thinking about, there's so many different books out there. And wouldn't it be cool over the summer, because, a lot of people are on vacation over summer, they get to catch up on their reading. Wouldn't it be cool to do like a summer book club or something like that? And look at things like biographies and fiction, and especially I love biographies. I will read just about anything. I will not read any horror. I mostly don't read fantasy. Sci-fi, yeah, that one's just beyond my capabilities of trying to even understand that. Although when I was part of a writers group in San Diego, we had a guy there who did do sci-fi writing, and it was out there, but I got to enjoy what he was writing because of the way that he wrote it. So maybe there is some sci-fi out there that I can read and understand and all that. But I was thinking, I have so many books that I haven't read yet. What if we did like a book club thing over the summer? You could get the books from the library. There's places you can get them and read them from there. And the library sometimes has books on CD as well, where you can rent them, not rent them, borrow them. So I was like thinking something like that. So what do you guys think? Do you think we should do like a summer book club? Read a new book each. Can you read a book a week? I can read a book in a day. So I have no problem doing a book a week. If anyone wants to join me doing a book a week, we can do that. And once a week we get together, and I'm just looking at my calendar thinking, we get together and we talk about the book and where we're at with the book and what we think of it. Yay, nay. Do we carry on? If it's the beginning of a series, would you carry on and read the rest of the series, or would you just one book and done? There's some really good books out there. I actually belong to, I have a meetup group where we read, and I haven't been able to attend because they go the third Saturday of the month. And a lot of times I've got stuff on the third Saturday of the month. So I haven't been reading the books, but I haven't been able to get on and discuss the books with them. And we would sit there and discuss these books. And we've done, and it's a mystery book club. So we've done all sorts of different mysteries and things. And there were some that were in there. It was sort of like, that one wasn't really a mystery one. That was more of developing the relationship between this character and this character, with a little bit of mystery thrown in on the side. But it wasn't really a mystery one. So we've come across books like that, and some that have been really, really good. And I noticed my niece one time, she will post on her Instagram what book she's currently reading for her book club. And she had one on there one time. I thought, oh, I wonder what that book's like. So I got it and I read it. And then the Mystery Book Club picked it up and said that they were going to read it. But unfortunately, I couldn't go to the discussion. And it was it was a really, really good book of lots of twists and turns and unexpected things. Some things I had worked out what may happen. I'm like right near the beginning, I was sort of like, yeah, I don't think everything is as it seems. So there's got to be something going on there. And then as the book went on, I was like, yeah, I'm getting pretty good at realizing that what I thought was right. But it was all the twists and the turns and the keeping you guessing things and the drop like little hints that would like confirm what I had figured out right towards the beginning. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was a really good book. It was really good. And when I got to see her again, I was telling her, I says, I've read that book. She says, isn't that good? I said, oh my gosh. I said, I figured out straight away, like right toward at the beginning then, what happened with that particular person. I figured that out. But I said, but then as I'm reading through the book, I'm sort of like, that's not going to happen. No, it is going to I kept going backwards and forwards on, was I right? Was I not right? And then they'll drop some other hint there. And I'm like, okay, this is getting more and more like it's going to be this way. And she says, yeah, wasn't it good how it did that? I was like, yeah, that was one of the best books I've ever read because it kept me guessing all the way through. And I love books like that. I love it when I keep guessing. If I can figure it out within like 5 minutes, and then as I read through, it's now there was one author. I was reading her book. It was shaping up to be a really, really good book. And like the detectives, they're following the clues and everything. And I think, oh, I'm pretty sure this is the person that did it. It was a mystery one. Pretty sure this is the person that did it. And I get to the end of the book and it wasn't that person. It was some other person that wasn't even, and I'm like, I don't recall seeing that person in the book at all. So I actually went back and reread that book to find out that person who actually did it wasn't mentioned anywhere else in the book at all until the arrest was made at the end of the book. And I'm like, well, where the heck did that person come from? I'm like, I don't like that. I mean, usually when you're reading a mystery book, the person who did it, you get to know them throughout the book. You get to figure out who they are and that sort of stuff. This one, I was shaping up to be this person here. And then they came in with this other person that wasn't even mentioned in the entire book. And that was the person that did it. And I'm like, well, how the heck am I supposed to figure that out? Don't like that. So I've never read another one of that person's books again. Because I said, oh, have you ever read these books? And I went, yes, I read one and I'm not reading them again. And they go, why not? And I explain the situation to them. And it's like, oh, I said, yeah, you can't do that in a book. If you're going to write a mystery, you've got to at least have the person who did it flitting in and out in the chapters and stuff, like they've had some interaction with that person, but to suddenly turn around and you think it's this person over here and everything points towards that person, for them to suddenly go, no, it's this person over here that you've never met in the entire book. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not how you write a mystery, in my opinion anyway. And I've read a lot of mysteries over time. So I've read a lot of mysteries by a lot of different authors and things like that. And this was the only one that did this. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not touching their books again. So, yeah. So I thought, and then I'm like thinking, there were some books I used to read as a kid that were more adult books. Like, because my parents had a bookcase that was in the hallway, and they had some of the books on there that my dad used to read, like Alistair MacLean and Wilbur Smith and what was the other author? Robert Ludlum and those sorts of books. And I'm like, oh, those are such a good books, and they don't really date. Yes, they are classics in their thing. And I'm like thinking, I'd really like to read The Gemini Contender again by Robert Ludlum. That's a really cool book. And lots of interesting twists and turns in that one. And basically The Gemini Contender are these two twins that are racing to find these books that their father had taken from the I think it was the Catholic Church, I think it was. And they had been tasked with hiding these documents because of what the documents contained. It could turn the Catholic Church on, and one of those types of stories and things. And it was just really good. It was twin against twin in this book, and that was really good. Then there was the Brotherhood of the Rose. Now, who wrote that one? I remember seeing the miniseries of that. It had Peter Strauss in it, and he was really, really good in that one. In the Brotherhood of the Rose, that was really cool. And it was a good miniseries. And then I went and found the book and read that, and that was even better. And again, these are just books that were written in like the 60s, 70s, 80s, and they're still really good today. I mean, yeah, and there's this ones like this I want to go back and read again. Some of them I have, some of them I don't have. What were some of the other ones that were on there? Where Eagles Dare. Now, who wrote that one? I've seen the movie of that one several times. I think it's in the movie Where Eagles Dare. I think that's the one that had Clint Eastwood in it. But they basically, it is a Clint Eastwood movie. It had Richard Burton in it as well. And Where Eagles Dare, the Allies, it came out in 1968. Oh, that could go on my classics list. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm putting that one on the classics list. But basically, the Allies go up and they invade this. The Germans have this fort that's basically on top of this mountain. The only way to get up there is in a cable car. And so the Allies infiltrate, and it's how they infiltrate there and then get back out again. And it's a really good story. And I remember as it was late teens, before I went into the Air Force. There was a group of us that whenever I went to visit with my friend, my grandparents' place, and I got to stay there. There was a group of us that would go off and we'd go watch movies, and you had VHS and beta, and this movie was in beta, and the place we always ended up with only had a beta player, and it was one of the few movies that was available on beta at the local video rental store. And I can't tell you how many times we watched that movie, but it got us every time. We loved that movie. We enjoyed that movie. But I'm trying to remember what book it was based off. But that one, since it was made in 1968, I can definitely put that into my Alistair MacLean. That's right. It was an Alistair MacLean book. I can definitely put that into my classic movies for June. So I'm definitely going to put that one in there. But that was a really good movie. There was just lots of books and movies that I read as a teenager that have sort of like been coming back lately. And I was like, oh, I'd really like to read that one again. Oh, I haven't read that one for a while. Oh, I read that one, yeah. And so I really just want to read them again. I'm like thinking, I wonder if anybody else out there would like to join me in reading some of these books. So if you want to join us, let me know. And once a week, we will do a podcast on that book and talk about it. So and maybe we'll do like a Zoom beforehand for those that read the book, and then I can go on the podcast and talk about what some of the ideas were about the book and thoughts and things from the group. Maybe get some of the readers to come on and talk about the book as well. So I don't know. It's just an idea that's playing over and over in my brain right now. My brain's sort of gone on this thing of yesteryear. I don't know why. I guess it was because when I was at looking after my grandson, he's into reading the Hardy. His mum just went and bought him the first 5 books of the Hardy Boys, and he was on to book 2, and he was really enjoying them. And I said, well, don't buy any more, because I have a feeling I may still have the entire Hardy Boys collection in a box. So before I go back in June, I have to go through all my boxes and see if I have the Hardy Boys. And if I do have them, I'm going to put them in the car and take them out with me in June. And then my grandson will have the entire Hardy Boys collection. And I said, I think I may also have the Nancy Drew ones as well. So, but I don't have the Nancy Drew and Hardy Boy books. But get this. So I never realized this, and I loved reading the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew. But my grandson said, when did these books first come out? And so his mum came over and took the book from him and showed him where you look in the front at the publication information to find out when the books were first published. The Hardy Boys were written in 1927. I'm like, those things are almost 100 years old and kids are still reading them. Think about that and all the generations that those books have affected over the years. I mean, you had in the late 70s, early 80s, where you had the TV series of the Hardy Boys that had Parker Stevenson and I can see them. Is it one of the Cassidy brothers? Hang on. It was Parker Stevenson and they ran Bandman in 2020. They had 3 seasons of them. Not the original ones. Here it is. Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew. Let's see. Who was in it? Oh, it was Sean Cassidy. Okay, so it was Parker Stevens. Parker Stevenson played Frank Hardy, and his brother Joe was played by Sean Cassidy, and Pamela Sue Martin played Nancy Drew. And I loved watching that TV series. They came out in 1977, and that was the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew, and they kind of went backwards and forwards, and then they did some joint ones as well. But they did a remake in 2020. I'm gonna have to go find those. But those kids look a lot younger in that. Huh. Amazing what you find out. So, and they remade the TV series in 2020, apparently. So, those books are almost 100 years old, and people are still reading them and still making movies and TV shows out of them. That's some really cool writing when you think about that. That was book 2. Book 2 came out in 1927. It was first published in 1927. And to think that book's, 93 years old. No, 97 years old, sorry. And it's still being read by kids today, by the kids generations later, it's still being read. What are some of the books that you read as a kid that your kids are reading or your grandkids are now reading? Let's ask that question. That just popped into my head. What books did you read as a child that your children and grandchildren are now reading and really like book series like Nancy Drew, the Hardy Boys, Trixie Bell, was it Trixie? What was the Trixie books? Trixie, let's roll into Mushy Choppers. What was her name? And Mushy Choppers comes from one of the Trixie Belden, I think they're called. There was a book there, and she was babysitting these 2 kids, and this little one that was just learning to talk was talking about mushing his chop. He had to mush his choppers before he went to bed, and he wanted to mush his choppers. And she's like, "What?" And the older brother said, "Oh, he wants to brush his teeth." And that's how he says it, mush your choppers. That's where I learned that one from. I think it was Trixie Belden. But there were those books as well. I have to go back and find the Trixie. I'm here. Let's look at Google. Trixie Belden book series. That's the one. She had some good mystery stuff in there as well. When were those first? They're a series of a girl detective written between 1948 and 1986. Wow, that's pretty cool. Those ones I actually got from the library. I never owned those ones. Let's see. I think I had the whole Nancy Drew series at one point. I'm just trying to have a quick look here to see when they were first done. 1930 to 1979 is when the first Nancy Drew book came out in 1930. And there was 56 in the series, and the last one came out in 1979. Isn't that cool? But those books have been around so long, and kids today still like them. So what other books are out there that kids are still, that, even though they were written almost a century ago, that kids still like today? And I said, yeah, but there was times that, what happened with the cars that they drove and that sort of thing. And so, yeah, it's been a while since I've read the Hardy Boys book, but I really enjoyed those, and the Nancy Drews. And there was some where they crossed over and got to meet up and that sort of thing. And yeah, what other books? So we could do a trip down memory lane. We could, I don't know. Anyway, let us know what you think about doing a summer reading project where we do a book a week. And we come back and we discuss it. And if we're going to do a book series, we always do the first book, and then you have the option by yourself to go off and do the rest of the series. Or you could just say, the first book, one and done. There's been some series where I read the first book in the series and I'm going, struggled through it. And I'm like, I'm not reading any more of the series. So just, but the writing gets a lot better. And I'm like, I don't think so. But anyway, so I'm looking to reading some books this summer. And so I would love to have somebody join me on book reading. So if you'd like to join me with reading books this summer, let me know, and we can maybe get together and figure out some books to read during summer. We'll start Memorial Weekend and go through to Labor Weekend. Memorial Weekend to Labor Weekend, 1 book a week. Or maybe we'll do one every 2. No, maybe we'll do one a month. No, because that'll only give us 3, 4. we'll figure it out. But if you'd like to join our summer reading, let me know. I know I'm going to be reading at least a book a week. Now, I normally have 6 books on the go at any one time. So I'm going to have to pick which one I'm going to read for the summer reading. But looking for nice light books to read. Don't want to get too heavy because it's summertime. You don't want to be weighed down by a book. Anyway, I'm out of here. So if you want to join us with the summer reading program, because I always remember too that the kids, there's one going on with Barnes and Noble right now. I saw it on TikTok the other day, where you can go into Barnes and Noble and you get this piece of paper, and it's got it's grades 1 through 6, I think it is. I think it's 1 through 6. And the kids can read 8. They have to read 8 books over the summer, and there's dates, start date and end date. And on the back of this piece of paper, they have to write what the name of the book is and who wrote it. And then there's another space underneath to write what their favorite part about the book was. And when they complete that sheet, they then take it into Barnes & Noble. And you don't even have to buy the books from Barnes & Noble. You can go to the library and take out books. It doesn't matter what books you read as long as there's 8 read. And then you can go to Barnes & Noble, and when you fill in the form, based on what grade you're in, as to which books you can choose for free, and you get to choose 1 book off the list for free. And on the front of the page is listed out by the grades. And so if you're like in the 3rd and 4th grade, this is your list of books here. You get to pick one of those for free if you fill out the back of the form. I love it when people do that. And some libraries will do summer reading programs where the kids get some award at the end of it if they complete all the reading assignments and everything else. And I remember doing that with the boys when they were growing up. At summertime, we'd go to the local library and find out what their summer reading program was going to be for books and stuff. And we'll pick up all the paperwork, and they'll go home, they'll sign up for it, and, put the books in there that they read and all that sort of thing. And then at the end of the program, or if they filled up the sheet, they got it done beforehand, would take them in, and they'd get whatever. It could be a voucher just to get free ice cream. There was some reward. Some of them had like little coupon books that they could get, where it had different free things for the kids as long as the parents bought. So like, kids free kids meal if the parent, with every full meal purchase type of thing. So the kids could get free things or go to the cookie, like Mrs. Fields, and get a free cookie, or go to Auntie Annie's and get a free pretzel. There was like coupons like that inside there. So that was pretty cool. But anyway, so we're going to do an adults one. What's our prize going to be then? I don't know. I haven't thought about it. Haven't got that far again. The idea just popped into my head today. So let me know what you think. I'm out of here. I got to go for WALK with the DOG, who is laying on the floor with her. She knows I'm talking about it, with her head on the other side of the curtain. As soon as I said she's laying on the floor, her head peeks under the curtain, like, what you talking about? Anyway, I'm out of here. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hey, konera.